My brother kept a journal, and after he died in an accident, I finally opened it, and I found a bucket list, so I decided to finish what was written on the last page. My brother kept a leather journal that nobody was allowed to touch. When he died at 31, I finally opened it and discovered it wasn't a journal at all. It was a bucket list. 47 items written in his cramped handwriting, dating back to when he was 19. Most were crossed off. Learn to surf, visit Iceland, run a marathon under 4 hours, read every book Dad recommended. The mundane mixed with the deeply personal across page after page. The last item wasn't crossed off. It was circled 3 times in red ink, and next to it, he had written one word: soon. The item read, "Make Corinne pay for what she did to us." Corinne was our stepmother. She married our father when I was 12, and my brother was 17. Within 2 years, she convinced Dad to cut my brother off completely. She told him my brother had stolen from her purse, made inappropriate comments when Dad wasn't home, was using drugs, and would destroy our family. None of it was true. I watched my brother beg our father to believe him, while Corinne stood behind Dad with tears streaming down her face, playing the victim perfectly. Dad chose her, kicked my brother out 3 months before his 18th birthday, gave him $200, and told him not to come back. My brother couch surfed for years, worked double shifts at restaurants and warehouses, put himself through community college 1 class at a time, built a life from nothing while Corinne lived in our family home, and systematically turned Dad against anyone who questioned her. I stayed in contact with my brother secretly. He never talked about revenge. He talked about moving forward, about proving his worth, about eventually having a real conversation with Dad when the time was right. Then he died. His car went off a bridge during a rainstorm. Police ruled it an accident. But my brother had texted me the night before saying he was finally going to confront Corinne and Dad together. He said he had proof. His apartment was sparse. Mattress on the floor, books stacked against walls, that leather journal in his nightstand. I found a folder taped under his desk drawer, bank statements, printed emails, photographs. Corinne had been stealing from our father for 15 years. Credit cards opened in his name without his knowledge. A separate account where she funneled money from his retirement savings. An affair with a younger man who lived 2 streets over. The 2 of them were planning to divorce Dad and take everything once he was too old to fight back. My brother had been collecting this evidence for 3 years. He was going to present it that weekend. He wanted Dad to finally see who he had chosen over his own son. After reading, I decided to finish my brother's bucket list my own way. I started visiting Dad every Sunday, brought groceries, helped with yard work, sat with him on the porch while Corinne watched television inside. I never mentioned my brother directly, just asked questions. How do you handle the finances these days? Have you checked your credit report recently? The questions planted seeds. Dad started noticing things. A bill for a credit card he didn't remember opening. A retirement statement showing a balance lower than expected. He asked Corinne about it. She told him he was getting forgetful, that he'd authorized everything years ago, that he shouldn't worry himself. But he did worry. He hired a financial advisor to review everything. The advisor found her separate account within a week. The confrontation happened on a Thursday afternoon. I wasn't there, but Dad called me that night crying harder than I'd ever heard him cry. He said he was so sorry. He said he should have believed my brother. He said Corinne had taken almost $400,000 over 15 years and had been planning to leave him with nothing. The divorce finalized 2 months ago. Dad made sure the settlement included full repayment of everything she stole. Her affair partner wanted nothing to do with her once the money disappeared. Last I heard, she was living in her sister's basement, working retail, telling anyone who would listen that she was the real victim in all of this. I visit my brother's grave every Sunday after seeing Dad. I bring 2 cups of coffee and sit on the grass and tell him what he missed that week. How Dad asks about him now. How Dad keeps his photo on the mantle. How Dad finally said the words my brother waited his whole life to hear. I finished the bucket list for him. Every single item. I surfed terribly. I flew to Iceland alone. I ran a marathon in 4 hours and 12 minutes, which wasn't under 4 hours, but close enough. But that last item was the one that truly mattered. I crossed it off in red ink, same as he would have done. Corinne paid. Not the way my brother planned, but she paid. And somewhere out there, I hope he knows his little brother didn't let him down.
A DoorDash driver called me asking if I ordered food to an address I'd never heard of, and my husband's voice was in the background. It was 7:43 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was folding laundry when my phone rang. Unknown number. Hi, this is Jake from DoorDash. Did you order Chipotle to 2847 Oakwood Drive? I'd never heard of Oakwood Drive. No, I'm at home. I didn't order anything. That's weird. The order's under your name and phone number. Says to leave it at the door for Sarah. My name is Sarah. My stomach tightened. What address again? 22847 Oakwood Drive. It's a house. Blue shutters. There's a trampoline in the yard. I thanked him and hung up. Probably a glitch. Someone typed the wrong number. Accept. I opened my credit card app. 3 charges from Chipotle I didn't recognize. 2 from Panera. 1 from some Thai place. Last week I asked Eric about them. He was making coffee. Didn't even look up. Probably fraud. I'll call the bank. He never called. The charges kept appearing. I scrolled back further. The pattern was there if you knew to look. Restaurant charges every Tuesday and Thursday. Different places. Always delivery. Same area code. My hands started shaking. I opened our shared Google account. Maps history. Every Tuesday for 6 months, Eric was at Oakwood Drive from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Every Thursday, same address. I felt sick. I called Eric. Hey, where are you? Working late. Big project deadline. I'll be home around 10. Okay, love you. Love you too. I hung up and immediately Googled 2847 Oakwood Drive. It was 20 minutes away. I grabbed my keys. The drive felt like hours. I kept trying to convince myself there was an explanation. Maybe a work thing. Maybe he was helping someone. I pulled up at 8:19 p.m. Blue shutters, trampoline, lights on. Eric's car was in the driveway. I sat there staring. Same silver Honda Accord. Same dent on the bumper. Same parking permit hanging from the mirror. My throat tightened. I couldn't breathe right. I got out of my car and walked to the front door. My legs barely worked. Through the window, I could see movement. A lamp on in the living room, toys scattered across the floor, a wooden sign hanging by the door that said, "The Thornton family," in cursive letters. I knocked. Footsteps. The door opened. A woman stood there, 30-something. Blonde hair pulled into a ponytail, wearing yoga pants and one of Eric's old college shirts. The one I thought he'd lost. She was holding a baby. "Can I help you?" Before I could answer, I heard it. Eric's laugh. That specific laugh he does when he's playing around. The one that makes his voice go high. The one I thought was just for me. "Daddy, come back. You didn't finish the castle." A little girl, maybe 5 years old, pink pajamas with unicorns, running into the hallway behind the woman. Then Eric appeared behind her. He froze when he saw me. His face went completely white. "Sarah." The woman looked at him, then at me. "Who is this?" I couldn't speak. My vision was blurring. Eric stepped forward. I can explain. Explain what? The woman's voice got higher. Who is she? I found my voice. I'm his wife. The woman took a step back. The baby started crying. The little girl was staring at all of us with wide eyes. Wife? The woman's hands were trembling. You told me you were divorced. You said the papers went through 3 years ago. 3 years ago. We'd just bought our house 3 years ago. We'd renewed our vows on our anniversary 3 years ago. I looked at Eric. How long? He didn't answer. How long? 6 years. The little girl was 6 years old. She had Eric's eyes. The baby couldn't have been more than 8 months. I did the math. He was with her when I had my miscarriage last year. When I was in the hospital bleeding and crying and he said he couldn't leave work. He was here with them. The woman was crying now. You said you loved me. You said we were your family. You are, Eric said. Then who is she? He didn't answer. I turned around and walked back to my car. Eric followed me. Sarah, please let me explain. Explain what? That you have 2 families? That our entire marriage is a lie? It's complicated. I laughed. Actually laughed. Which house do you sleep in on Tuesdays? He looked at the ground. I got in my car, drove home, called my lawyer at 9:47 p.m. Eric moved out within a week. The divorce took 8 months. He's living in that house now, full time, with them. I still can't eat Chipotle.